Howdy. Talking today about this book that I wrote, Love of Chromatic Harmonica, Techniques and Advice from the World's Best. It's pretty thick. What's in this book? 2 years of my life. I interviewed about 24 people from all over the world, the top players. And that's center section of the book. That's those interviews. And in those interviews, people share how they think about music. Like Tolek Olestead is a guy that I put first because I loved his ideas so much and what a healthy person he was with his thinking about music. And we were talking about, people saying, hey, what's the secret to being a good musician on the chromatic harmonica? And, people love that idea of like there's a secret to it. And this is Tolek talking. And for me, it was the fact that no, there's not a secret per se, but there are elements I don't hear expressed or talk about nearly enough. And that's what those three elements above were for me, because in music education, which I'm very involved in now, but especially in traditional music education, it's very much about theoretical things and technical things. It's about exercises, technique, and theory. That all has its place, but I feel it's kind of turned upside down, and that, a musician to stand out, there's the feeling and the timing and having deeply perceptive ears and the need to have a primary focus. So these guys explain, women and men players from all around the world, how they think about music. Some of them talk about what they imagine when they're playing. So for me, I think it was a wonderful journey to do the interviews, and you can experience that journey by reading about them. Now, the other thing is this front part of the book, that's a method section. Now, what's method? How to play the chromatic harmonica. Like the method of piano and the method of violin, method books. And it explains how to develop and use your breath, how to do a bend correctly, how to do vibrato correctly in all of its different forms. And then that section of the book also has some what I call intervallic exercises, maybe between a C and an E and a C and an F, and getting you used to doing intervals and scales, all the major and the minor scales are there. So that's a section that actually teaches you how to play. And then the final portion of the book, which is a lot of fun too, has some personal journeys of people like yourself who are looking to get better. And then it has a lot of information on equipment you can use and what is a Tascam recorder and tips for making your training more successful. Tolek Olestead is probably the top player in the world right now, and he said of the book, it's a true masterwork on the chromatic harmonica, the likes of which we've never seen before. And the reviews have been very, very, very good. The only complaint that I know of was that we didn't give the book away. But it's a substantial work, probably the most definitive and in-depth book on how to play and ideas for you to improve. I read it and I wrote it, but when I read it, I learn too, so I go back and I read it. Now the book is available in 2 forms around the world. In a lot of the world, you can get the paperback copy, and it's pretty big. You can also get Kindle easily in India and some of the parts of Asia and China that shipping a book to can be tough. But I think you'll enjoy it, and you'll have a feel for my journey. And after you read the book, you're always welcome to reach out to me on the many Facebook pages we have, like Love of Chromatic Harmonica, mirroring the title of this, and tell me what you thought of the book and what your thoughts were. I'd be very interested to hear. So again, the book is Love of Chromatic Harmonica, Techniques and Advice from the World's Best, and that's what it is. I hope it's a resource that can help skyrocket you forward, because what we all share, all musicians, is we do want to get better.